Okay, today we're going to work on part 2, which is 3 systems, 3 unknowns. This is quite a bit tougher, but I wanted to find this little picture for you. You got to keep pushing, stay focused, and you'll get it. Okay, I'll try to make it I'll go as slow as I can. You're welcome to back up and work as much as you need to. Elimination. If you know how to work elimination, you should be okay. It's just that there's lots of steps. Okay, so try to stay with me. I know you can do it. All right, so this is what a three equation one looks like. So we're actually talking about a different plane rather than just 2 lines, which is more of an Algebra 1 topic. The Algebra 2 portion starts to bring in a third plane. So this is what that would look like. So our one solution that we're generally used to seeing is now going to be one point that 3 different planes intersect at. So that point would look like values of x, y, and z. Okay, an infinite solution, or like infinitely many, like we say, is where they intersect on a line. So they just have a point that they have a line where they intersect in the middle, all 3 planes. And then no solution would be where the planes are parallel with each other. Okay, so we still kind of have those things happening, but now with 3 planes instead of just 2. All right, so what we're going to do is get started. Try to stay with me, like I said, and feel free to stop and rewind. Actually, you may want to watch it first and then stop it, rewind it, and then write. It might make more sense that way. Okay, so what you want to do is try to narrow down one variable. In this case, I think I'm going to go after the z's first. So what I have to do is break this down into 2 separate equations where I take 2 at a time and try to cancel the z's in both of them so that I go back to a 2 by 2. So for instance, what that means is I would take maybe equations 1 and 2, and I'm going to work those first using elimination because they're already set up very nicely to do that with. And of course, this first question is going to be really easy. You got a lot of easy canceling. That doesn't always happen. All right, so we're going to take these 2 first, and we're going to have the z's cancel out. And actually, when we work straight down, we kind of got lucky because the y's also cancel out. So this is one of those cases, like I said, where it's kind of simple because that already happened, or it was already set up to cancel that way. All right, so what happens here is I can go ahead and solve for x, and I already know what x is in my answer. Okay, so now I've got to go after my y and my z. Okay, so what we need to do now is try to figure out either y or z. So let's take these 2 equations. Okay, so that would be x minus y minus z equals 3. Negative x minus y plus z equals negative 1. Okay. Let's see. Actually, I'll be able to solve for y right now. That would be pretty easy. The x's cancel. The z's cancel. I have negative 2y. Those do not cancel, by the way. Equals 2. Therefore, y is negative 1. Well, so that was actually kind of easy. I already found my x and my y just by doing that. So now what I can do, since I have x and y, all I have to do is take those and plug them into the original equation. And I just like to go with the top. You can do any that you want. I just do the top one again for consistency. So I'm going to do x plus y, and I'm reading this from the original equation. So I put in x, and then I put in my y, and then the z is what I'm trying to solve for. So 2 plus negative 1 is 1, plus z is 1, and then I'm just going to subtract 1 to both sides, and z is actually 0. So it looks like these 3 planes are going to intersect where I get a point 2, negative 1, and 0. Again, you can take this and plug it into all 3 equations for x, y, and z, and you should get the correct answer. Okay, so here's the real deal. This is something that's not going to be as set up like the last one where things cancel it out so easily. So we have to do some thinking. I'm going to try to go slow for you, but please feel free to stop and rewind like I said before. All right, we need to go after one variable. So I'm looking at this. It really doesn't matter because I have an x that's by itself, I have a y that's by itself, and I have a z that's by itself in each equation. So really any of those will be just as easy as the other. But let's just go with the x's. So I'm going to take these two equations and I'm going to try to cancel the x's. So what I'm going to do is multiply this top equation by -2 because I want it to cancel with the positive 2x on the bottom. So when we rewrite this, it'll be -2x minus 4y plus 6z equals -22. Right now, the bottom equation, I'm going to leave it just like it is. All right, so now when I when I add down, these cancel out. I have -3y plus 4z is equal to -13. All right, so what you see in here, I'm going to save this for later because I need another equation with y and z in it to solve. Okay, so we're going to come back over here and just pick two more. I can do the first equation and the last equation, or I can do the second equation and the last equation. It doesn't matter, I just can't do the first and the second again because I already did that one. So what I'm going to do is I guess I'll just do the second and the third one. So we're going to take these two, and in order to cancel x, now remember I have to cancel x this time because I canceled it in the first pair. All right, so I'm going to multiply this top then by, it looks like the same thing, -2. And we're going to try to get something in terms of y and z that we can throw over here with this one that we saved. So we're going to make this -4x minus 2y plus 4z equals -18. All right, again, the bottom's going to stay the same. Z equals 16. Okay, and so my 4x and -4x cancel. This will be 1y plus 5z equals -2. Now that I have this equation, I can bring it over here with the one that I saved. And now all I have to do is use these two to solve just like I did a regular 2x2. Okay, and then what that will do is it will give us y and z, and we can take those two and plug them back into the top equation to get x. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. That means I need to multiply the bottom, it looks like, by 3. So my top equation, I'm going to leave the same. Lots of copying in these questions. So you always want to make sure you copy it right. That's a big mistake sometimes for students. Okay, so let's see, the y's cancel out, and I have 19z equals -19. Oh, look at that, perfect. So z is just -1. Now we're going to take that -1 for z, and we're going to plug it back into these equations. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter which one. Again, we can just plug it into the top like we have been doing. So that would be -3y plus 4 times z. Z is -1 equals -13. So this would be -3y minus 4, -13. So -3y equals -9. What I'm doing is adding 4 to both sides, and that should be -9. Therefore, y is 3. So far in my final answer, I have no x, but I have y is 3, and I have z is -1. So now my job is to go back and try to figure out what x is. All we have to do is take this equation and find something else to use. Okay, we can take my y and my z and plug it back into the very top. So the top reads x plus 2. I'm getting this from here. X was 2 times y. Y we said we found was 3. And z is -1. And we're going to solve that, and then we'll have x. So we have x plus 6 plus 3 equals 11. Oh, so x plus 9 is 11. Therefore, x has to be 2. because I'm subtracting 9 to both sides. All right, so I'm going to plug that 2 in there. Again, we can take 2, 3, and -1 and plug them into all 3 equations. So you do that, check, make sure we have the right answer. If not, I'm sure you'll let me know tomorrow. Okay, now this is the way that I know that you could possibly be asked on the benchmark assessment. So really, if you're asked a multiple choice question, all you really have to do is plug in your x, y, and z into the equation. So what I would do is just solve it that way. So I would take A, and I'd start plugging it into the first equation. That would be 0 minus 6 times -3 plus, well, 4 times 0 would just be 0, where my z is. So watch how easy this is. -6 times 3 is positive 18. I already know that it's not going to be A, okay, because this is not true. It would have to be true for all of them. So we could then plug in the next equation. So that would be 0 minus 0 plus 4 times -3 would be -12. Now that's true, but it has to be true for all of them. So let's try it in the next one. That would be 0 plus 0 minus 4 times -3 has to be 12. That's also true. So let's try the last one. That would be 0 plus 0 plus 5 times -3, which is supposed to be -15, and in fact that's true too. So in that case, B is my final answer. Now just to make sure you didn't have any mistakes, I would definitely try D also, just to rule it out, but in this case it is B. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow in class. Good luck.